Hello, hi. Hello.
Okay, good afternoon to all of you. Now let's start because the number of students is not increasing. Still that 25 or just a little bit higher. So let's not start. So is the slide visible? Anybody else please respond. Parvanand?
Yes, sir, it's
Any
visible.
other? Andrila?
It's visible, sir. It's visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible. Okay. So now let's see the remaining topics that was left. Today we'll discuss about how to test agile-based applications. So there are two important components here we have to see. What do you mean by agile software development? And then we'll see how to test it. So you know that there are many software development lifecycle models are available. So the classical waterfall model, iterative waterfall model, prototyping model, incremental model, spiral model, V model, RAD, and so on. So these are the traditional models. These traditional models, they follow the static working strategy. What do you mean by static working strategy? Static working strategy means in these models everything is fixed. For example, what is the cost of project you have estimated earlier, that is fixed. Requirements, you have already done this software requirement analysis, specification and analysis. You have frozen the requirement, then only you are going for designing. What will the schedule, that is also fixed like that. Also, what is the expected time to develop the software, that also are fixed. So everything is fixed. If you want to change the requirement, very much difficult to change it. So these are some of the drawbacks of the existing traditional models. Besides that, each model has its own drawbacks. Okay, so now that's why there's a need to develop another important development model which can overcome some of those limitations. In order to overcome these drawbacks, several major software vendors, several major software firms, they have been adopting a form of intelligent development. They have started to adopt a form of intelligent development in one or more phases of their software development process. So you know that the software development process consists of many phases. So in order to overcome the drawbacks of the traditional models, some of the major software firms, they are adopting a form of intelligent development in either one or more phases of their software development processes. So for example, Agile methodology is a well-known example of a life cycle which is used to build intelligent and analytical systems. What does the Agile development promote? The Agile development does not promote the best practices. Then what does it do? Rather, it is about adaptive planning and evolutionary development. How to plan this development, how can change the development, how the development can be evolved. So it is about adaptive planning and evolutionary development. Now let's see, what do you mean by Agile software development? Very, very important. Please try to understand, in the software industries, they are heavily using now Agile software development. So please have a look at very carefully. So what do you mean by Agile? Agile means easily moved, light, nimble, and active software processes. Okay. So that's why the name is Agile software development. Agile means which can be easily moved, which is light, which is nimble, and which is active. And this is the active software process. Okay. This is meant by Agile, easily moved, light, nimble, and active software processes. Then how do you achieve the agility? How agility can be achieved? Agility can be achieved by fitting the process to the project. So what process you are following, that you should try to fit to the project. So agility can be achieved by fitting the process to the project, by avoiding things that waste time. So which things are wasting the time unnecessarily? How can you avoid that thing? For example, you know, in the classical waterfall model, much of the time what you have to do, you have to do documentation. Whatever you do, maybe requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, you have to make a huge documentation. So documentation takes a huge amount of time, which may not be required at all, or it may be required to some less extent, and that time would otherwise have been spent for some other purposes. So how to avoid the things that waste time, for example, documentation. Now let's see, ASD or Agile software development is based on what? Agile software development is based on lightweight methodologies. I have already told you, Agile means easily moved, light, nimble, and active software processes. So Agile software development is based on lightweight methodology. What do you mean by lightweight methodology? Lightweight methodology means less documentation and less planning. Don't spend much time on documenting and planning the things. Okay, that time you spend for some other important work in your software development. So ASD is based on lightweight methodologies, that means lightweight methodology means less documentation and less planning. Okay, so ASD is based on lightweight methodology having dynamic nature. So this software development, it is dynamic in nature, which is its major strength. So the major advantage of Agile software development is it is based on lightweight methodology. So there is less documentation and less planning. It is dynamic in nature. These are the major advantages of Agile software development. This model provides an environment to accommodate frequent changes as per market standards and customer needs, which was not possible in classical waterfall model. In classical waterfall model, once requirement specification is over, requirements are frozen. You cannot change later on, even if there is a demand in the market, even if there is a demand for the customers. Very difficult to change those requirements. So, but in this agile software development, this provides an environment to accommodate frequent changes as per market standards and customer needs. This is the most important advantage. Whenever there is a change in customer requirement, whenever there is a demand from the markets, the requirements can be easily changed and they can be implemented. This is the major advantage of agile software development, which is not possible in the traditional software development processes such as classical waterfall model. This agile software development model is an iterative and incremental development method. I hope you have already known iterative software development model, incremental software development model. So this AST combines the features of both. AST is an iterative development process as well as it is an incremental development process, and is customer centered. Whenever customer is coming to make some changes, this model can allow it, whereas the traditional models cannot allow it. So ASD is an iterative and incremental development method, and this is customer centered. The agile process consists of multiple sprints. Normally, this agile software development process, it consists of multiple sprints. What do you mean by sprints? Sprints means what? Iterations or runs or development cycles. So whenever you will come across agile software development, you have to deal with the terms sprints, because the agile process consists of multiple sprints. Sprints means iterations or runs or development cycles. So agile process consists of multiple number of iterations or runs or development cycles. In each sprint, what is happening? In each sprint, a specific software feature is developed. Okay, in every sprint, in each sprint, a specific software feature or a specific software functionality is developed. It is tested, it is refined and documented, and this documentation is very less. And I already told you, as the documentation is very less. So in each sprint, a specific software functionality is developed, it is tested, it is refined, and is documented. For example, if you are doing this developing a library information system, in the first sprint, suppose you have developed this issue book, that functionality. Next sprint, you can develop this what you can say with issue return. Next sprint, you can do the compute file, like that. So in every sprint, a specific software functionality is developed, it is tested, it is refined and documented. However, because of agile development, since agile development depends on the context of the project, testing is performed differently in every sprint. So since the agile software development, it depends on the context of the project, so testing is performed maybe differently in every sprint. So in every sprint, the testing is performed differently as this type of development depends on the context of the project. Now let's see the details of the agile model. I have already told you, agile model is developed to overcome some of the shortcomings of the traditional methods such as the waterfall model of development. Okay. To overcome the shortcomings of the waterfall model of development, this agile model was proposed in mid-1990s. The agile model, why it was designed primarily? The agile model was primarily designed to help the projects to adapt to change requests. This was the major objective, because they have seen, the vendors, the firms, they have seen in the traditional methods, once the requirement is frozen, design is started, it is very much difficult to change the requirements. So it cannot meet the customer's demands or the market demand. That's why the agile model was primarily designed to help the projects to adapt to the change request, so that whenever there is a change in the request, it can easily accommodate them. So that's why the agile model was primarily designed. In the agile model, the requirements are decomposed into many small incremental parts, which can be developed over 1 to 4 weeks each. Okay, so in the agile model, the requirements that decomposed, that splitted into many small incremental parts, and those incremental parts can be developed over 1 to 4 weeks each. So each incremental part can be developed within 1 to 4 weeks each. Okay, this is what is happening in agile model. Let's see a little bit of history of the Agile Manifesto. On February 11 to 13, 2001, at the lodge at Snowbird Sky Resort in the Wasatch Mountains of Utah, 17 people they met to talk, sky, relax, and try to find a common ground. So these people sat on February 11 to 13, 2001 at the lodge at the Snowbird Sky Resort. What they have done, they have analyzed, they have discussed what are the output. What emerged was the Agile Software Development Manifesto. So finally, they have proposed, they have prepared the Agile Software Development Manifesto. So what is the outcome of the meeting? The outcome of the meeting is the Agile Software Development Manifesto. What more was the Agile Software Development Manifesto? So in this meeting, who was attended? Representative from Extreme Programming, you might have known XP, Scrum, DSDM, Adaptive Software Development, Crystal, FDD, that is Feature Driven Development, Pragmatic Programming, and many others sympathetic to the need for an alternative to the documentation driven heavyweight software development processes content. So which people, similar mind people, they have thought that these existing models, they are highly documentation driven, no scope for change of the requirement. So similar like-minded people such as Extreme Programming, Scrum, DSDM, ASD, C, Crystal, FDD, etc. They have been invited and they have sat together there and they have discussed there how to get rid of these problems and how to develop a new model. That new model was known as Agile Software Development Model. Now, a bigger gathering of organizational analytics would be hard to find. So what emerged from this meeting was symbolic. What are the output? The output was a manifesto for Agile Software Development, which was signed by all the participants present in that meeting. What was the manifesto that was coming out of that discussion? The manifesto is given below. The manifesto for Agile Software Development is given below. This is quite easy. Please read yourself here. Now let's quickly say about the principles behind the Agile Manifesto. What are the principles behind the Agile Manifesto? The highest priority was to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. It's not like the classical waterfall model. The output will be delivered only after all the phases are over. That means the requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, then the deliverable. No. Here, the customer can get a deliverable product continuously in an iterative manner, in an incremental manner. So the highest priority was to satisfy the customers through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. The customer has not to wait years together to get some end product. So here the customer can get some valuable interim software, valuable product much early and in an incremental manner. They welcome changing requirements even late in development. As we have seen in the traditional models, changing requirements is very difficult. After SRS document is prepared, when you will go to design and coding, at that time, changing the requirements is very difficult. But in Agile, they will changing requirements from the customers. at any stage, even late in development, even if you have finished coding, still then you can accept the change the requirements from the customers. So they welcome changing requirements even late in the software development phase. That means maybe after coding or testing are over. Agile processes, they harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. Okay, so in order to get advantage, in order to take, in order to provide customers competitive advantage, they harness the change. Agile processes, they harness the change. Okay. So the agile processes, they harness the change for the customer's competitive advantage. So whenever customer comes with some change in his requirement, agile methodology, agile software development can easily accept that one and can incorporate those changes. So in agile manifesto, the objective was to deliver the working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with a preference to the shorter time scale. So the objective was to reduce the time scale to deliver a product. So it was incremental, it was iterative. So within a couple of weeks to a couple of months, some intermediate product, some working software can be delivered to the customer. To deliver a working software frequently, which may take from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with a preference to settle the time cycle, it will reduce the time cycle. The customer does not have to wait years together to get the end product to the deliverable product. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the product. So we are discussing now the principles behind the Agile Manifesto. So they have also thought that the customers, that means the business people and the software developers, they must work together daily throughout the project. So there must be daily conversation. Okay, there should be face-to-face communication. The end users, such as business people and developers, they must work together daily throughout the project. They have to build projects around the motivated individuals, give them the environment and support their need and trust them to get the job done. So in Agile software development, the developers have to build the projects around the motivated individuals. They have to give them the environment, the proper environment and the proper support they need, and trust them to get the work done or trust them to get the job done. Then how so when the business people or the customers and developers, they will meet every day throughout the project, what should the communication, how they can communicate with each other? The most efficient and effective method of communication, or the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team, is face-to-face conversation. That's why every day they need some meeting. They should discuss physically in a face-to-face conversation mode. The working software is the primary measure of the progress. So what is the progress of your software development? You can know by seeing that what working software you are delivering to the customer. So working software delivering the working version of a software is the primary measure of the progress of the development. Agile processes, they promote sustainable development. Okay, the Agile software development processes, they promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers and the users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. Okay. So who are the customers or the sponsors, developers and users? They should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely throughout the development of the project. Continuous attention is given to technical excellence, and good design enhances reliability. We are discussing what are the principles followed in Agile software development, or the principles behind the Agile Manifesto. So continuous attention is given to what? To technical excellence and good design, because the good design enhances agility. If your design is good, it will enhance agility. Continuous attention is given to technical excellence, and the good design, it enhances agility. It is very much simple. You have to maintain simple software development. Simplicity means the art of maximizing the amount of work not done. It is essential. So simplicity, another principle that is followed in Agile Manifesto. Simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, is very much essential. The best architectures, the requirements and the designs, okay, the best software architectures, the best requirements and the best designs, they emerge from where? They emerge from self-organizing teams. There is no pressure or no force, some outsider who will construct some outsiders who will organize the team. No, they organize the teams. They emerge themselves. The teams are self-organizing in nature. The best architectures, requirements, and designs, they emerge from self-organizing teams. So in Agile software development, the team, it is of self-organizing in nature. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes them, and then adjusts its behavior accordingly. Okay? So periodically, at regular intervals, this team, this Agile team, it reflects on how to become more effective in developing the software, then how it can be tuned, and how it can be adjusted, and how adjust its behavior accordingly. So at regular intervals, the team will reflect on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjust its behavior accordingly. Okay. Let's see what are the ideologies in Agile Manifesto. More focus is given on the individuals and the interactions over the processes and the tools. So all the ideologies you can find out in this link. So here more focus in Agile Manifesto, more focus is given on the individuals and the interactions over the processes and tools as done in case of the traditional software. More focus is given on the working software over comprehensive documentation as it is done in the traditional software. Similarly, more focus is given on the customer collaboration over the contract negotiation as done in the traditional software development. Similarly, more focus is given on responding to change, which is very, very important, over following a rigid plan. So like in classical waterfall model, the plan is very much rigid. Once you make the plan, that cannot be changed throughout the development. Customer has to wait till the end of the product. If some changes in the requirement are coming in the design phase or the coding phase, they cannot be accommodated. This is because this is a very rigid plan. So in Agile Manifesto, here focus is given on responding to the changes over following a rigid plan. So this is how these are the ideologies in Agile Manifesto. What are the examples of Agile methodologies? You must know some of the terms. What technologies, what methodologies are coming under Agile software development? I have listed some of them: Space Transfer Extreme Programming, Scrum, Unified Software Development Process, Crystal, DSDM, Lean. These are some of the examples of Agile development methodologies. At least one or two, you please try to learn those things. I teach in the software engineering subject, but now we are running out of time. So, but it is there in explained nicely in Rajiv Mal's book, in software engineering book, or in that software engineering book by Naresh Chauhan. Please have a look. But still, today I will try to cover at least one so that you can understand how Agile software development is made. So today we will take up Scrum after this slide is over. Okay. So these are some of the examples of Agile methodology. Okay. In the examination, a question might be asked that the 4 methodologies will be given, which of the following is not Agile methodology, or which of the following is an Agile methodology. Okay. Now let's see one of the other differences in the traditional software development and Agile software development. In traditional software development, what is there? The time is moving like that in this way. maybe from what this top to bottom. At any point of time you take, you are doing some particular activity. Either you are doing analysis or design or coding or testing. That was done in the traditional software development. But if you see the agile software development, it is changed. Here it is vertical. The time moves vertically, but here time moves horizontally. What does it mean? At any point of time you take, you are doing analysis. That means you are doing little bit of analysis, little bit of design, little bit of coding, and little bit of testing. So this is a better way of doing the same thing in comparison to the traditional one. Where here at any point of time, either you are doing the analysis or design or coding or testing. But here, any particular point of time you take, you are doing a little bit of analysis, a little bit of design, a little bit of coding, a little bit of testing. All the activities you are doing. This is a better way of doing the same. This is how this traditional software development. This is how the agile principles, they are different than the traditional software development methodologies. Okay, end-to-end small slices. So here, the work is divided into some end-to-end small slices. So the agile model, let's now let's say something on the agile models. The agile model puts emphasis on the fact that the whole agile team should be a tightly integrated unit and is composed of the following. Okay, how the what agile team will consist of? The agile model puts emphasis on the fact that the whole agile team, it should be a tightly integrated unit and is composed of the following team members. So there are some developers, some quality assurance members, some testers, the project owner, and the customer. So like this will be the constituent, or in this way the agile team is consisted of or is composed of by considering the following members: developers, quality assurance people, testers, project owner, and 1 or 2 customers.
Sir,
yes, please.
Sorry to interrupt, sir.
Yes,
so
please.
Quality assurance and tester is they refer pretty much the same person. So somebody who is testing is referred as a quality assurance.
See, in some of the organizations, actually, if you want to club, fine. But you see, in some of the organizations, they are having only one cell, that is quality assurance, and some of the cases they are putting as a separate one. Tester belong to the development team, and the quality assurance is completely as a separate cell. So they are completely outside the development team. So that will vary from what organization to organization. You are correct. Some of the companies, they have merged. So the testers means they belong to that. In that case, you will club these 2 things. Only 2 testers, or they will act as also the quality assurance members. But still, some of the organizations you can put and or this you can do. But some of the things you see,
Okay.
the testers are different and quality assurance another cell completely. It is separate from the development team. Okay. So may vary slightly from what team to team or organization to organization. Okay. The key feature of agile software development is to have effective communication between all team members. I have already told you, one of the major features of agile software development is to have what? Effective communication between all the team members. How we can achieve effective communication? I have already told you. Face-to-face communication you should adopt. For valuable communication and information exchange, what should be done in agile software development? Daily meetings are held in ASD. Whenever you are going for any agile software development, every day you have to carry out some meetings. I will take the example of Scrum and show how the daily meetings are carried out. Another important feature of agile process is iterative delivery. I have already told you 2 important features of agile software development process: iterative delivery and incremental delivery. So you have to do it iteratively as well as incrementally. So another important feature of agile process and iteration or delivery cycle in agile software development may range from 1 to 4 weeks. So which we normally call it. So it may take any iteration or delivery cycle. It may consist of 1 to 4 weeks in agile software development methodology. This is agile model I have shown here. I have taken it from Naresh Chauhan book. You see, initially what you have to do, iterative planning. So some people will be responsible for making this iterative planning. Then you have to ensure increased communication among these team members and the team ownership. So increased communication should be there. I have already told you how to achieve increased communication through face-to-face communication. That's why every day there should be meeting. And then what continue review and testing. So every day you monitor, you do the review meeting and continue the review and testing. And while you will see that when the planning is coming, so you have to also take this feedback every time, and this delivery should be iterative nature. So here what will deliver, and working version of the product will be delivered. So this is a deployable product. Then there is a adaptive team, and every time, as I have told you, one of the major importance factor is requirements changing. Change requirements can be accommodated. So how can accommodate the change requirements? You have to collect first this change requirements. So that's why some people will be there for requirements gathering. Maybe some requirement analyst or requirement engineer should be there. They will collect the requirements gathering each time, because I am able, or we should promote this in incorporating the changing requirements, how the requirements are changing. So a group of people, they will be responsible for gathering or collecting the requirements. So whenever they are getting some request to change the requirements, they should immediately pass on to this development team, and they will try to incorporate. So in that way, this is an iterative matter. This is an iterative manner. This is iterative development process, and incrementally you are getting the product. And this every time you will take the feedback and continue try to improve the system by taking the feedback. So in this way, this agile model will take place. You see, two important things I am saying, that you are able to accommodate the change request from the customers, and we are making communication very much efficient among the team members, increased communication and the team ownership through daily face-to-face communication. Okay, so this is a very small agile model that was proposed. The details are explained in the book. Please have a look into this. Whatever I have told, that was elaborated in the book. Now let's see what are the principal techniques that are followed in agile model. So the principal, some of the terminology you must know. Some of the principal technique we must know, which are followed in agile model. First one is user stories. So what do you mean by user stories? We have already known use case diagram, and in the use case diagram there are several use cases. A use case diagram consists of a number of use cases, the actors and the relationships among them. So here we have to use this term user stories in agile development. What do you mean by user stories? These are simple than the use cases. Use cases means what the functionalities. So simpler functionalities, simple functionalities, we call them as user stories. Very roughly called the use cases. So they are very much simpler than the use cases. Metaphors. What do you mean by metaphors? So based on the user stories, the developers propose a common vision of what is required. So what is the common vision? So based on this user stories, this software developers in the ASD, they will propose a common vision, a common solution of what is required. And examples, you can say metaphors. I think you see shopping cart, you might have seen in this what we are doing online shopping, there's a concept of shopping cart. So that's a very common thing. Anything else you select and put into the shopping cart. So that is an example of good example of metaphor. So based on the user stories, the developers propose a common vision of what is required, and an example of metaphor is the shopping cart in an online shopping software. Spike, what do you mean by Spike? It is a simple program to explore the potential solutions. So that can be many solutions for a simple problem. So we have to identify what are the solutions, the potential solutions for the simple problem. This is called as Spike. So Spike means a simple program. It is a simple program to explore the potential solutions for a given problem. Refactor, very easy. It's simple English means refactor means restructure. Refactoring the code, that means restructure the code without affecting behavior, improve efficiency, structure, etc. So when you find that there are complex codes very much difficult to understand, try to restructure the code without affecting, or you can say break the code or simplify the code, restructure the code without affecting the behavior, improve without affecting the behavior, and you can improve the efficiency. The structure may be a little bit changed, no problem. You have to try to restructure so that the efficiency can be improved, the structure of the code can be improved. This is known as return on rate factor. These are some of the principal techniques that you will use in agile model. Now let's quickly look at the nitty-gritty of agile model. The nitty-gritty of agile model says that at a time only one increment is planned, it is developed, and is deployed at the customer side. So plan a little, develop a little, code a little, and test a little. So at a time, only one increment is planned, not more than one increment. Don't make plan for the whole product and then you start developing that thing which will take years together. The customer has to wait till that end of the year. Don't do that. Divide the whole work into small increments. At a particular point of time, consider only one increment. You plan only for that increment, then you code that one, deploy at the customer side. Don't do any long-term plan. No long-term plans are made. An iteration may not add significant functionality. When you are going to the next iteration, an iteration may not add significant functionality, but still a new release is invariably made at the end of each iteration. At the end of every iteration, a new release is made, even if it has not added significant functionality, but it has changed, it has improved certainly some of the functionalities. It is delivered to the customer for regular use. So an iteration, after one iteration, whatever working software you will get, it will be delivered to the customer for regular use. Okay. This is the agile software development life cycle. See how it is decomposed, how it is different from the classical waterfall model. See, most important thing we are doing here, changing requirements. Whenever the requirements are changing, they can be accommodated at any phase, maybe in design, maybe in development, maybe in testing. See, these are the different iterations. I have told that agile software development, it is iteration in nature, it is iterative in nature, it is incremental in nature. So every phase you take, maybe your the requirement analysis or design or development or coding or testing, each one is divided into several iterations. So this is the design phase, see, it is divided into several iterations. Then the agile development, again some iterations. Then testing is embedded here. So there are several continuous builds. So in this way, the agile software development lifecycle is divided into several phases, and each phase is divided into several iterations. Who are the stakeholders in agile lifecycle? So agile software development lifecycle includes specific activities which are performed by different stakeholders, such as the you can say project manager, developers, testers, marketing professionals, and customers. So in the next table I have shown what are the activities to be performed by these stakeholders, what manager will do, what developer will do. So what are the activities they will be performed by whom, I have shown in table. Next you will see that table lists the activities performed by different stakeholders. For example, you see C for customer, M for marketing professional, and T for what? T for what? You can see T for testers. So this activity requirements gathering are performed by customer, marketing professionals, testers. Similarly, effort estimation, cost, risk, capacity, and resource estimation, they are performed by the manager, marketing professionals, and customer, like that. So which actor or which stakeholder is responsible for which activity, that we have shown in this table. You can just have a look into this, very easy, you can read yourself. So this table, it lists the activities performed by different stakeholders. At the time of production of the code or before producing the code, testing is applied. How? By writing the failed test cases. Please see here, how do we perform the testing? Not by writing the successful test cases. We start with by writing the failed test cases. And this kind of testing is known as a TDD, test-driven approach. test-driven development. We'll see in the next class what is this TDD. In most of the companies, they are using TDD. Unlike the traditional approach of working, in traditional approach, we normally take the successful test cases or the past test cases. But here, testing is applied by writing the failed test cases, and we perform the TDD, test-driven development. So, at the time of production of the code or before producing the code, we apply testing. Testing is applied in ASD. How? By writing the failed cases rather than writing the past test cases, which was happening in the traditional approach of working. The testing activity begins as soon as user stories are finalized. So user stories, I have already told you, it's just like as use cases. So when the testing activity begins, the testing activity begins as soon as the user stories or the requirements or the functionalities, they are finalized and they are prioritized. Okay, you must also prioritize the requirements. Which requirements are very much important? Give them priority 1. Next, 2, maybe say user interfaces, least priority, you can give 10, like that. So the testing activity begins as soon as the user storage or the requirements or the functionalities are finalized and they are prioritized. And then the testers, they try to move business logic into lower levels. So after these requirements are finalized and prioritized, then the testers try to move the business logic into the lower levels in order to test with lower effort in the last stage. So after these requirements are finalized and prioritized, then the testers they move the business logic where into the lower levels in order to test, so that lower effort can be given in the last stage for testing the software. So this is a sample agile life cycle where the different stakeholders are there, like the project manager and the developers, the testers, and marketing professional. So at the center, customer is there. So the life cycle, the agile life cycle are shown here. So the stakeholders in the agile life cycle are shown in this diagram. This table I have already told you which actor is responsible for which activity, that we have shown here. Now let's see something more about this agile software development life cycle. In agile software development methodology, a quality product is delivered. How? A quality product is delivered by operational teams, and acceptance factor is related to the rate at which customer accepts the delivered product. So two important things I am saying here, Q and A. Q stands for quality. A quality product is delivered by whom? By the operational teams. And see, I am saying that in agile software development, two factors are important. One is quality. A quality product is delivered by the operational teams, and acceptance factor means acceptance factor is represented as A. The acceptance factor is related to what? It is related to the rate at which the customer accepts delivered product. If it is fully accept, you can give 100. If it is fully reject, maybe 0 or 1, like that. So acceptance factor is related to the rate at which the customer accepts the delivered product. Then you can easily compute the effectiveness of the team. The effectiveness of the team in the agile software development methodology is related to two factors. The two factors are quality and acceptance. And how they are related? So E is equal to Q into A. Okay, so the efficiency is equal to the quality product or the quality into the acceptance factor. You have to give some weights or some values to these two factors. Then you multiply. You can find out the effectiveness of your team in the agile software development process, or in this agile software development methodology. Out of these two factors, the quality is more significant, or the acceptance is totally dependent on you. You see, whether the user will accept this product or reject, it depends upon obviously quality. If the quality is very good, then only the user will accept, otherwise he will reject. So out of these two factors, quality and acceptance, quality is more significant, or the acceptance is totally dependent on quality. Quality is more when there is lesser number of backlogs, and it is less when backlog items are more. So when there is less number of backlog items pending, then of course quality is more, because you have resolved, you have implemented all the backlogs. and the quality will be very less when there are several backlog items are pending there. Okay. So backlogs can be decreased when automation is the preferred approach over a manual way of testing. So the number of backlogs, of course, they can be reduced when you are using proper automation methods, when automation is the preferred approach over a manual way of testing. Of course, when you are using manual ways of testing, then backlogs will be pending. It will so many backlogs will there. But when you are using any automated tools, etc., then of course the number of backlogs will be significantly reduced, and hence the quality will be increased. So now let's see, one of the methodology I have told that in Agile, you have to make efficient communication. Efficient communication can be achieved through face-to-face communication. That I have already told you. So face-to-face communication is favored in Agile methodology over written documents. Don't write so many things. Documentation is given very less importance here. Just you try to do minimum documentation only, what is at all required, which cannot be skipped. Otherwise, everything is based on face-to-face documentation. So one of the important feature in Agile software development is face-to-face communication. So perform face-to-face communication, it is favored over the written documents, because try to document as less as possible. To facilitate face-to-face communication, what you should do, following things are recommended, such as the development team, they should share a single office space. All the development team, they should share a single room, a single office space. The team size is deliberately kept small, maybe within 5 to 10 people. So if the team size is less, this will make the Agile model most suited to the development of small projects, isn't it? Because each time, even if there are larger requirements, you divide it into smaller requirements. This will make, and now the team size is also small, within 5 to 10. This will make the Agile model most suited to the development of the small projects. Please see, I have shown a comparison of these effectiveness of communication modes traditionally and in nowadays, or in the Agile software development methodology. Traditionally, what people are doing, first they are using paper mails, documents, and then send by post or something else, paper mode. Then they have used audio tapes, then maybe video tapes, etc. But nowadays nobody is using these paper modes or audio tapes or video tapes. People are starting you see, this is the cold mode, and as we are moving to the hot mode. These are the communication effectiveness. Nowadays in Agile software development, in the very cold mode, we start this email conversation. Otherwise, in order to make again hot or more efficient, we use phone conversation or video conversation and face-to-face conversation. And the hottest one is the face-to-face at whiteboard. That's why daily meeting you have to do. You may take a whiteboard also. So face-to-face communication at whiteboards. So these are the communication effectiveness. These are the richness of the communication channel. In this way, you can see how the communication modes are becoming more effective in the recent days in Agile software development in comparison to the traditional methods of communication in these older software development methods or models, such as classical waterfall model. So a few principles will quickly look at for the Agile model. First one, the primary measure of progress. I have already told you how you can measure the progress of your development team. It's only through the incremental release of working software. So periodically, how many versions of the working software you are releasing? So the primary measure of progress can be measured through incremental release of the working software. The important principles behind some of the, not all, I have written few, some of the important principles behind Agile model is frequent delivery of versions. So frequently you deliver the versions, right? Today is version 1, next week version 2, next week version 3, etc. So frequent delivery of versions maybe once every few weeks. Requirements change requests are easily accommodated. This I have already told you. Even if you have performed, the coding is over, testing is over, still some requirement change is coming, you have to accommodate. That's the one of the best feature of Agile model. Requirements change requests are easily accommodated. There is a close cooperation between the customers and developers, because almost every day we are carrying out the meetings. There is face-to-face communication among the team members almost on every day. So these are some of the important principles behind Agile model. I have already told you documentation is very less in Agile software development. It is not prepared, very less. What is the bare minimum, which is not avoidable, that much only we will do. So Agile documentation is very less in Agile methodology. So that's why I have told you, you are following a lightweight approach, travel light. That means you need far less documentation than you think. In Agile software development, you need far less documentation than you think in comparison to the traditional models. So travel light. Don't do heavy documentation. Still, whatever bare minimum you have to do. So let's see in Agile documents what you are doing. The Agile documents, they are very concise in nature, not very vast as in case of traditional classical waterfall model. They describe the exact information that is less likely to change. Okay, only whatever is changing, because I have already told you one of the important features of Agile software development method is what? Interpreting change requests. So only you document that thing which are very less likely to change. So describe the information that is less likely to change, only document that portion. Describe only the good things to know. What are the good things to know? Only you document those things. Describe good things to know. These Agile documents are sufficiently accurate. They are consistent and they are detailed. Just 1 second. Sir. Hello. Sir. এটা তো খালি ফ্যাক্ট কো পঠাবো, এটা পুଣି ফ্যাক্ট কো দিব। ফ্যাক্ট যাহা ଦେଇଥିଲାম ତ କମେଣ୍ଟ ଦେଲି, ସେ ଦେଇଥିଲେ ଏଥିରେ ହେଫା ଥ୍ରୁରେ ପଠିବା ପାଇଁ, ହେଫା ତା କମେଣ୍ଟ ଦେଲି ଡାଟା ପରେ ସେଟା ଖାଲି ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ ଉପରେ ମାର୍କ କରିବ, এটা ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ କୁ ଯିବ। ସେ ତାପରେ ଆକ୍ସେପ୍ଟ କରିବ କି ରିଜେକ୍ଟ କରିବ, ଯାହା এটা ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ ରୁ ଆସିଛି ପୁଣି ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ କୁ ଯିବ। ଓନ୍ଲି ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟର ଥ୍ରୁରେ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି, ମୁଁ ତ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟ କୁ ପଠେଇ ପାରିବିନି, ସେଟା ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟର ଖାଲି ମାର୍କ କରିଦେବ। Okay. So then valid reasons to document. So in Agile documentation, so what are the reasons you are documenting? You must have to give. You must have to put the valid reasons to document. Let's say I have already told you documentation is very less, but whatever bad documentation we are doing, what are the reasons to document? What are the valid reasons to document? Because some of the reasons are as follows. The project stakeholders, sometimes they require those many documents. So project stakeholders requires it. That's why you have to document. To define a contract model. So in order to develop a contract model between the developer and the user, to define a contract model, we have to document. Another reason is to support communication with an external group. So in order to making communication with an external group, a sponsor or somebody else, to support communication with an external group, we may have to document. Also to think something thoroughly. So to think something thoroughly, or to think something through. So I think should be thorough. To think something thoroughly, we might require a document in our hand. So that's why you have to document. So these are some of the valid reasons why at all bad documentation is required in Agile software development methodology. Okay, so this is something about regarding the Agile documentation. Then we will quickly look at the Agile software requirements management, how the requirements are managed. See, the requirements are managed, or they are arranged in the form of a stack. The high priority requirements are put on the top of the stack. The low priority requirements, because I have already told you, first you have to identify the requirements and prioritize them. So the high priority requirements, they are put at the top, whereas the low priority requirements, they are put at the bottom of the stack. Each iteration implements the highest priority requirement. So in every iteration, because I have already told you, Agile software development follows an iterative manner or iterative approach as well as incremental approach. So each iteration, it implements the highest priority requirements. Every time it will process the highest priority requirements. Whenever I have already told you, here requirements can be changed. Sometimes new requirements also may come. Sometimes changed requirements are also come. So each new requirement, whenever it is coming, it is prioritized and added to the stack. So whenever any new requirement is coming, you have to give a priority and you can add into the stack at the appropriate place. Requirements may be reprioritized at any time. Why? Requirements, once you have given the priority, if it is required, you have to change because the requirements are changing. So tomorrow some other new requirement has come and that is having more priority. So the existing requirement that has you have to give now less priority. You have to readjust in the stack. So since requirements are changing, their priorities also may change when a high priority requirement may come. So requirements may be reprioritized at any time, and accordingly it can be put in the corresponding place in the stack. Some requirements may sometimes they become redundant, they become obsolete. So those redundant and obsolete requirements, they have to be removed. So requirements may be removed at any time when they become obsolete or redundant. From the stack, you can take them out. So in this way, you can manage the software requirements in agile software development. We'll quickly see. Look at the adoption detractors. There are several advantages we have already seen for agile software development. Let's quickly look at some of the adoption detractors. So in agile software development, there are some sketchy definitions which make it possible to have inconsistent and diverse definitions. The definitions may be inconsistent and diverse. For implementing or for adapting agile software development methodology, high quality people skills required. Okay, high quality people skills are required. Short iteration, I have already told you in agile software development, the development cycle is very much shorter. The short iterations inhibit long-term perspective. So since the development is less, very less, so short iterations may inhibit long-term perspectives. It's very difficult to plan for long-term. It is difficult to make long-term plans. Short iterations inhibit long-term perspective. Higher risks due to feature creep. So since some of the features may be creeped in, so higher risks due to feature creep. It is harder to manage feature creep and customer expectations. So in agile software development, it is harder to manage the feature creeps and customer expectations. It's difficult to quantify cost, time, and quality. In agile software development, it is very much difficult to quantify the cost, quantify the time, and quantify the quality. I have told that Q we give the values, but how to give this value to Q? Quality, whether it will be 1 or 10 in this range of 1 to 10, how to give value 1 or 10, it's a very difficult task. It is very difficult to quantify cost, time, and quality. These are some of the adoption detractors for agile software development methodology. Let's quickly look at some of the shortcomings. We have seen several advantages of agile model. So few shortcomings like it derives agility through developing tacit knowledge within the team rather than any formal document. I have already told you here documentation is very, very less. So it derives agility through developing tacit knowledge within the team rather than any formal document. So since formal documents are not there, later on we want to refer something very much difficult. Let's see what are the drawbacks of having any formal document, which is happening in agile software development. Since there is no formal document, so the development process can be misinterpreted. It is very much difficult to get external reviews. When a project is complete and the team is dispersed, then maintenance becomes very difficult and we don't have any formal documents now. So when the project will be complete and the team will vanish, the team disperses, the maintenance process will become very much difficult because you don't have any formal document. So these are some of the limitations of not having formal document. And in the agile software development, since there is a very less amount of documentation, there is very less formal documents, so these problems might occur. So these are the shortcomings of agile software development. So these are some of the limitations of agile model. Okay, so now let's quickly compare the agile model versus classical waterfall model. The steps of waterfall model, they are made in a planned sequence. Like first we perform the requirements, we capture the requirement, then we analyze them, then we perform design, then coding, then testing in a proper planned sequence. And how the progress is measured? Just Just 1 minute, please. Hello. Namaskar. मुझे क्लास Okay, so in classical waterfall model, how the progress is measured? The progress is measured in terms of delivered artifacts such as the SRS document, design documents such as DFD and UML diagrams, test plans, code reviews, etc. In contrast, the two features here I have told. In waterfall model, it consists of a planned sequence of requirement analysis, design, coding, and testing. The progress is measured in terms of the delivered artifacts such as SRS document, DFD, UML diagrams, test plans, code reviews, etc. But in contrast, how it is happened in agile model. In contrast, the agile model, it sequences what? It sequences the delivery of working versions of a product in several increments. It orders or it sequences the delivery of the different working versions of a product in several increments. In first increment, it may give working version or version 1 or version 1.1. Next increment or the next iteration, it will give version 1.2. Next increment, version 1.3, like that. So it is not like just a planned sequence what is happening in waterfall model. Rather, in contrast to agile model, it sequences the delivery of working versions of a product in several increments. And here, how do we measure the progress? In case of waterfall model, the progress is measured in terms of these delivery artifacts. But in agile software model, the progress is measured by looking at the delivery of some releases, delivery of the working versions, delivery of several releases of the different working versions. In this iteration, what you have delivered. Next iteration, which version you have delivered, how many functionalities are there. So the progress is measured in case of agile model by release of the different versions in each iteration. So if we come to the similarity between agile model and waterfall model, we can say that agile teams, they use the waterfall model on a small scale. This is the similarity between, we have seen the differences between agile model and waterfall model. We have seen also the similarity between agile model and waterfall model. We can say that the agile teams, they use the waterfall model on a very small scale. Okay. So today we have discussed the basics of agile software development. I have highlighted some of the existing agile methodologies such as extreme programming, Scrum, DSDM, etc. We have discussed the agile model in detail. We have explained the agile software development lifecycle, presented some of the shortcomings of agile model, and compared the agile model versus waterfall model. Next, actually, we are supposed to see this testing of how exactly testing happens in agile model, because today we have discussed only the agile software development. But I think it will be better if you can take up at least one agile methodology, because I have told there are several agile methodologies such as extreme programming, Scrum, DSDM, etc. So let us take at least one in brief so that you can understand, because while I will go to the testing, I will take any one model. Then I will say either extreme programming or Scrum, etc. Then I will say how testing is applied in extreme programming or Scrum, etc. So let's quickly take within under half an hour regarding how software development takes place in extreme programming or Scrum. So I have selected Scrum. These methods are presented in Rajiv Mal's book, any methodology you take. So today I will take what Scrum, and we'll see how software is developed in Scrum, very much important for industry point of view. We have again taken from this Rajiv Mal's book and Rajesh Chauhan book. You can see yourself. Now let's see about Scrum. Till that, any doubt, please, you can ask whatever we have covered now. If there is any doubt, please say. If you ask, we will take up. Otherwise, we will go to the Scrum now. We'll take under half an hour for discussing the Scrum. Yes. So this is a very relevant, pertinent topic for nowadays for industries. So any doubt, please come. Nobody is asking anything else. So now let's go to, as I have already told you, there are several agile development methodologies starting from extreme programming, Scrum, etc. This is not supposed to be taught here, but if I will not teach, then you cannot understand the testing part. So fortunately, I am taking. This is available in Rajimal's book. Any other book, please have a look. This will be very much important for campus interview and for your company, industrial life. Okay. So let's quickly take a see. I am not discussing detail. Detail I cannot discuss. We don't have time. I am only giving the highlights, the important points, and the others you can see from any book or from any internet sources. Let's see about Scrum first. Scrum is an agile framework which concentrates on how the team members should function to produce this system flexibly in a constantly changing environment. Because I have already told you in agile framework, always the changing requirements are encouraged. At any point of time, if the requirement is changing, you have to incorporate that one. So Scrum, this is an agile framework which is concentrated on how the team members they should function, they should work to produce the system flexibly in a constantly changing environment. If the environment is changing, if the requirements are changing, how you can produce the system. Okay. Scrum is concerned with the product owner. Let's see who are the stakeholders in Scrum. Scrum is concerned with the product owner, the project lead, and the whole team working together in an intensive and interdependent manner. The Scrum process includes 3 phases. One is the pre-game, one is development, another is post-game. So the major is the development phase. Before that, what preparation is required, that is the pre-game phase, and after development is the post-development or the post-game phase. So Scrum process includes 3 phases. Who are the stakeholders in Scrum? There are 6 identifiable roles in Scrum that have different tasks and purposes during the process and these practices. Okay, so Scrum has 6 identifiable roles that have different tasks and purposes. What are these 6 roles? One is Scrum Master, product owner, Scrum team, customer, user, and management. These are the 6 roles. Now let's see one by one. So which role performs which task? Before going to which role performs which task, let's quickly look at the Scrum characteristics. Then we'll go to the roles and tasks. One of the major characteristics of Scrum is that self-organizing teams. I have just told in my previous slide while discussing agile methodology. In agile methodology, normally the self-organizing teams they work. Here the teams are self-organized in nature. So first characteristic, Scrum teams are self-organizing in nature. The product development it progresses in a series of month-long sprints. What is a sprint? I have already told in my previous slide. Sprint means roughly you can say iteration or run or the development cycle. So in Scrum, the product development progresses in a series of month-long sprints. That means the sprints are normally what you can say 1 or 2 months or so. Next characteristic, requirements are captured as items in a list. So all the requirements they are captured, they are gathered as some items and they are presented in a list. That list is called as product backlog. Very much common term in Scrum, product backlog. So product backlog means a list of requirements which are captured. So these requirements are put in a list and that is called product backlog. I have already told you Scrum is one of the agile processes. Other examples of agile processes are Extreme, DSDM, Lean, etc. So let's see about Scrum lifecycle. How does the product is developed in a Scrum lifecycle, or how does this Scrum lifecycle it moves? First, what will happen? All the requirements you have to put in a list called as product backlog. Then you have to make planning for a sprint. Sprint can be 1 month or 2 months. Sprints I have already told you, run or iteration or so. First, you collect the requirements, put in the form of a list called as product backlog. Then you plan for each sprint. That means take out some requirements from this product backlog, which you can do in 1 sprint. Say, suppose I have taken out the top 2. So that means in this sprint, I can handle only 2 items from the backlog. So this is this list we call as sprint backlog. So sprint backlog is a subset of the product backlog. So make the planning for each sprint, check out those requirements that we call as sprint backlog. Then the exact Scrum process happens. It is called as a daily Scrum. Every day you have to do something. Let's see, in daily Scrum what we have to do. Daily Scrum, you have to do a meeting. Then you have to do a little bit of design for those sprint backlogs. You have to code for these sprint backlogs. You have to test for this sprint backlogs. So this consists of, okay, so these items are included in daily Scrum. So perform daily Scrum every day. Okay, perform daily Scrum every day. Then sprint review. Then after this testing, definitely you will get some output, some what deliverable or some working version of the product you will get. You review it, sprint review. So and incrementally you produce the product. Then incrementally you produce the product. So this is how this Scrum life cycle it works. So what is a sprint? I have already told you. The Scrum projects progress in a series of sprints. Sprints means runs or iterations, etc. Those who have known extreme programming, this sprint is very much analogous to the XP extreme programming iterations or time boxes. And normally the target duration for each sprint is 1 month. Here the software increment is designed, coded and tested during the sprint. So in the sprint what we are doing, please see, we do the meeting every day, then little bit of design, little bit of coding, little bit of testing. So software, so in each sprint what is happening? The software increment is designed, coded and tested during the sprint. Please remember that no changes are entertained during the sprint. So I have already told you here changes are accepted, these are encouraged, but during a sprint normally changes are not allowed. So after one sprint is over, whatever the change requests are coming, you just put them separately. After one sprint is over, you can allow the changes, you can incorporate the changes. So no changes are entered during the sprint. Now let's quickly go this Scrum framework.
Sir,
yes, please. Yes,
sir,
please.
Sir, one point which is very much important is the demonstration of the demo part basically. So
Yes,
development,
yes.
testing and demonstrating that particular piece of feature to the customer basically.
Yes, I will come to that. Actually, see, every daily Scrum meeting, what you are saying that will happen this. I will come to that. Just wait for 2-3 slides. If it is not clear, please ask. I will come to this. So no changes are entertained during the sprint. Let's quickly look at the Scrum framework. I have already told you there are 6 roles in this Scrum framework. They are product owner, Scrum master, Scrum team, customer, end user, and management. There are some important ceremonies in the Scrum. Let's see what are the ceremonies. First is sprint planning, then what you can say sprint review, sprint retrospective, and daily Scrum meeting. These are the ceremonies. Those are performed in Scrum. And what are the artifacts used in Scrum? The different artifacts used in Scrum are product backlog, sprint backlog, and a burn down chart. I will explain all those things. First, come to the roles. Which roles are performed by whom? What are the responsibilities in a Scrum team? So, first role is product owner. Product owner represents the customer's views and the interests. Then development team, I have already told you, here the team size is small, maybe within 5 to 10 people with the cross-functional skill sets. There should be cross-functional skill sets. That means 1 or 2 designers, 1 or 2 requirement analysts, 1 or 2 testers, 1 or 2 these customers like that. So this team of 5 to 10 people, they should have cross-functional skill sets. Then next role is Scrum Master. Several times we call it as project manager. What is this responsibility? The Scrum Master, he facilitates the different. The Scrum Master facilitates the Scrum process and resolves the impediments at the team and organization level. How? By acting as a buffer between the team and the outside interference. So basically, the Scrum Master, he will facilitate the Scrum process and he will resolve the impediments at the team and organization level by acting as a buffer between the team and the outside interference. Then we'll go to what the product owner in detail. What are his responsibilities? I have already told you. Product owner represents the customer's views and interests. The product owner, he defines the feature of the product. So who will define the features of the product? The product owner. Besides that, he decides on the release date and content, on what date the next version will be released, what will the content of that version, that will be decided by the product owner. Product owner is also responsible for prioritizing the different features according to the usefulness. He will give the priority depending upon the usefulness. He will give priority to the features he will give the priority to the functionalities. He will also adjust the features and priority every iteration as needed. I have already told you during this what development the priorities may change because some new functionality, new feature may arrive, etc. So who will adjust this priority? So the product owner adjusts the features and priority every iteration as and when required, as and when needed. He can accept or reject the work result. So after say one sprint is over, whatever result you are getting, whatever the interim results or the working software, either he can accept or reject the work results. Then what are the responsibilities of Scrum Master? So Scrum Master, he represents the management in the project. He removes the impediments, if any. He ensures that the team is fully functional and the team is fully productive. Also, the Scrum Master enables close-up cooperation across all the ropes and functions. Somebody should somebody should liaison, somebody should act as the coordinator. So the Scrum Master, he enables close cooperation across all the different roles and functions. He shields the team from external interfaces. So the Scrum Master, he can shield the team from the external interferences. Then you will see the Scrum team. I have already told you, normally this Scrum team is small in size. Typically 5 to 10 people will there, and they should have cross-functional skills, such as few people from quality assurance, few people from programmers, few people from UI designers, few people from testers, and like this. Even if one or two, but apprentices from customers. So in this way, Scrum team should be consisted of. One of the most important characteristic of Scrum I have told, that is also a characteristic of your agile software development. That means the teams are self-organizing nature. So the teams, they will be self-building. So teams are self-organizing nature. But the membership can change only between sprints. So inside the sprint, the membership cannot change. So who is doing what? That can be changed. Suppose the person is doing the coding and he cannot change the role between the one sprint. For the next sprint, he may do the testing part. So membership can change only when or only between the sprints, or if you want to take some new member or some member will excluded. So membership can change only between the sprints. So what is a sprint? I have already told you. It is the fundamental process flow of Scrum, which you can call as run or iteration, etc. I have already told you that it is usually it is a month-long iteration, normally 1 month, but if it is complex or so, you can give 2 months or so. It is usually a month-long iteration. During this time, an incremental product functionality is completed. So during this sprint, during this 1 month iteration, so an incremental product functionality is completed. I have also told you that no outside influence is allowed to interfere with the Scrum team during this sprint. So during this sprint, no outside person, no outside influence will be allowed to interfere. No outside influence is allowed to interfere with the Scrum team during this sprint. Each day begins with the daily Scrum meeting. So every day it will start with the daily Scrum meeting. Let's see in the daily Scrum meeting what is happening. So I'll say, so this daily Scrum meeting is also a part of ceremonies. I have already told you these are the important ceremonies in Scrum. First is the sprint planning meeting, then daily Scrum, then sprint review meeting. Let's see what is happening in the sprint planning meeting. The goal of sprint planning is to produce a sprint backlog. What is the sprint backlog? I have already told you. 2 backlogs I have told: product backlog and sprint backlog. Sprint backlog is a subset of the product backlog. In sprint planning, the product owner, he works with the Scrum team to negotiate what backlog items. So what backlog items they will consider for this particular sprint. That product owner works with the team to negotiate this. The product owner works with the team to negotiate what backlog items will be taken or will be considered. The Scrum Master ensures that the team agrees to the realistic goals. So whether the goals you have set, the requirements you have set, whether they are actual, you can meet them or not, they are actually they are achievable or not. Who will ensure? The Scrum Master ensure that the team agrees to the realistic goals. The goals are realistic, they are achievable. The Scrum Master will ensure that. So this is what is happening during sprint planning. Next, let's see daily Scrum. Now I am coming to your point that how to what to display or how to interact. So as its name suggests, daily Scrum, it happens every day, daily. Maybe 15 minutes or half an hour you can spend for daily Scrum. Normally, this is a kind of stand-up meeting. It's not meant for problem solving. 3 important questions are solved during daily Scrum. 1, what did you do yesterday? So yesterday, what things you have done? You have to repeat to the other team members. What did you do yesterday? What will you do today? So after based on the work on yesterday, or you have already given the presentation to others, people have shared, people have known, then you have to say based on the yesterday's work, these things I will do today. And what obstacles are in your way? Yesterday during your work, what obstacles you have faced? So all those 3 questions will be addressed in the daily Scrum. I think Parmanand, I am addressing your question that how to share or give a appearance to the other members. So in the day, that will be addressed in every day in the daily Scrum. That what things you have faced yesterday, what you have done, what are the obstacles, and accordingly what you are planning for today. That will be discussed in the daily Scrum meeting. I have already told you that it is not a problem solving session. Okay, so daily Scrum is not a problem solving session. I have already told you that daily Scrum meeting is not a problem solving session. It is not a way to collect the information about who is behind the schedule. It's not a way to collect the information about who is behind the schedule. So daily Scrum is a meeting in which the team members, they review what is done maybe on yesterday or till now, and then they make some informal commitments to each other and to the Scrum Master. Yes, yesterday we have done these things, the obstacles we have faced, and today we'll do these things. They will make some informal commitments to each other and to the Scrum Master. This is a good way for the Scrum Master to track the progress of the team. So in order to measure the progress of the team, the daily Scrum, it's a good way for the Scrum Master to measure, to track the progress of the team. Then the other ceremony is the sprint review meeting. Let's see what things are performed here. Here the team presents what it accomplished during the sprint. Okay, in the sprint review meeting, the team members will present what the team has accomplished during the sprint. Typically, it takes the form of a demo kind of things. Typically, it takes the form of a demo of the new features. This is a very informal meeting. Maybe 2-hour prep time rule may be required. In the sprint review meeting, who will be present? The participants are the customers, management, product owner, and the other team members. They may be present in the sprint review meeting. Now let's come to the artifacts. They are used in this Scrum. Important artifacts, I think I have told: product backlog, sprint backlog, and the burn down chart. Let's first see about product backlog. So what is a product backlog? I have already told you. It is a list of all desired work on the project. On the desired project, what are the requirements? It is a list of all desired work on the project. It is usually a combination of the story-based work as well as the task-based work. Story-based work means the user story. So the story-based work means let the user search and replace his requirements, and the task-based work means improve the exception handling. So these exceptions might occur. You have to improve the exception handling. Okay, you have to improve the exception handling methods. The list, I have already told you, product backlog means a list of all desired work on the project. So this list is prioritized by the product owner. I have already told you the requirements have to be prioritized. Who will prioritize? The product owner. Who is a product owner? Typically, a product owner may be a product manager or marketing or the internal customers, etc. This product backlog one will see in detail. Here I have already told you, product backlog means basically these are the requirements of the functionalities for a system. The requirements for a system, product backlog means it is the set of requirements for a system which are expressed as a prioritized list of backlog items. This product backlog is managed and owned by the product owner. Normally, this product backlog is prepared in the form of a spreadsheet. Typically, normally it is prepared in a spreadsheet. I have shown, let me show a sample product backlog in the form of a spreadsheet. It's a sample product backlog. Where you have to write down the requirements. Each requirement should have a unique ID. So item number I have given 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Then the description of the requirements or the functionalities. These are the description of the functionalities and the or the requirements. Then the estimated time, maybe in terms of a number of days or so. Who will perform this functionality? It will be performed by whom? And finally, you have to give the priority. Whether this is of very high, see, 1 to 6 requirements, they are of very high priority. 7 to 20, they are of high priority, and 21, 22, they are of medium priority. Like that. If low, again, you can add say 23 to 25 of low. So in this way, you can represent the product backlog in the form of a spreadsheet. Okay. Then the next artifact is sprint backlog. I have already told you sprint backlog is a subset of the product backlog items. So you will define the work for this sprint. That means in a particular sprint, I have already told you sprint may take 1 month. So during this 1 month, what things you will do? So which requirements you can handle, which functionality you can complete. Take out those things from the product backlog. So sprint backlog is a subset of product backlog items, which defines the work for a particular sprint. The sprint backlog is created by the team members. Each team has its own status, and this sprint backlog is updated daily. Okay, how much you have done yesterday, how much thing you can do today. Suppose you have you are expecting to complete 4 functionalities yesterday, and or say a particular sprint, say 1 month, every day you are supposed to complete 3 functionalities. And yesterday you have already finished 3, and so still you are having some time. So 1 more functionality can take. So next day beginning you can say that. So you are supposed to finish 6, but already you have finished 7 of the functionalities. So you can take more functionalities from the product backlog. So the sprint backlog is updated daily. So sprint backlog during the sprint. So I have already told you one of the important advantages of agile software development or Scrum is incorporating or accepting the change, the requirement changes. So changes may occur. Changes in requirements may occur. The team adds new tasks whenever they need in order to meet the sprint goal. So whenever the team needs in order to meet the sprint goal, the team may add new tasks. Team can remove the unnecessary tasks, or the team can remove the obsolete and the redundant tasks. But sprint backlog can only be updated by the team. Whatever updation, it can be done by the maybe direct the customer. So I have already told you this sprint or the items in the sprint, they are having some estimated times. I have already shown here. See, every requirement, every feature has some estimated maybe the number of days it will take. It is estimated. So estimates, they are updated whenever there is new information. So when you get some new information, new functionality or new requirement, the estimates are updated by the team. Okay. So estimates are updated whenever there is new information. So this is something about the sprint backlog during the sprint. Now we'll see the last artifact, that is burn down charts. So why burn down charts are used? These burn down charts are used to represent the work done. How much work you have done? You can represent this. That is known as burn. These are remarkably simple. They are very simple, but they are very effective information disseminators. You can easily disseminate the information by using these burn down charts. There are three types of charts. There are three types of burn down charts you will see here. One is sprint burn down chart, which can be used to represent the progress of the sprint. Another chart called as a release burn down chart, which will be used to represent the progress of release, different releases. The product burn down chart, which can be used to represent the progress of the product. So corresponding, so in order to represent the progress of the sprint and the progress of the release and the progress of the product, there are correspondingly three charts, such as sprint burn down chart, release burn down chart, and product burn down chart. Let's see them. What is performed or what is represented in the sprint burn down chart? I have already told you, sprint burn down chart will represent the progress of the sprint. It depicts the total sprint backlogs hours remaining per day. Okay. So the sprint burn down chart, it will represent the total sprint backlog hours remaining per day in every day. It also shows the estimated amount of time to complete, how much time still remaining. It shows the estimated amount of time to complete the particular job. Ideally, it should burn down to 0. So normally sprint burn down chart, ideally it should burn down to 0 to the end of the sprint. That means when the sprint is going to be completed, ideally it should burn down to 0. So ideally it should burn down to 0 to the end of the sprint, but actually it is not a straight line. Normally it does not occur as a straight line. Actually it is not a straight line. Let's take the example of a burn down chart. How does it look like? This is an example of a sprint burn down chart, where in the x-axis we have taken the days and in the y-axis we have taken the hours remaining. So like this, as the number of days are passing, see the hours remaining may be falling down. So this is how a sprint burn down chart is can be represented. This will show the progress of each sprint. Then the release burn down chart, why it is used? It is used to show the progress of each release. It also represents the fact that will the release be done on right time? Whether that release you are going to produce, can it be produced on the right time? That can be shown in the release burn down chart. It will represent the fact that will the release be on the right time. It will also represent how many more sprints will be required for this particular feature, for this particular represent, for this particular feature, or for this particular requirement, or for this particular functionality, how many more sprints will be required. That can be represented in the release burn down chart. In the release burn down chart, in the x-axis we are taking the sprints and the y-axis we are taking the amount of story points remaining. I have already told you what is a user story. In the y-axis we are taking the amount of story points remaining. So in this way you can represent the release burn down chart. This will show the progress of the release. Okay. This so this is something how the release burn down chart will look like. And the next one is the product burn down chart. I have already told you this is used to represent the progress of it is a big picture. It is a big picture view of the project's progress. The whole project's progress, considering all the releases, can be shown by using the product burn down chart. It is a big picture view of the project's progress, consisting of all the releases. In the x-axis of the product burn down chart, we have taken the number of sprints, the different sprints, the number of sprints. In the y-axis, we are taking the story points. It may look like this. The red color shows the expected burn down. It should look like this, but due to some changes, due to some variations, the actual burn down is following like this blue line. So it is a big picture view of the project's progress, consisting of all the releases. This whole project is consists of several releases. It is a big picture view of the project's progress, consisting of all the releases. This is how the product burn down chart will look like. So what is regarding the scalability of Scrum? How far it is scalable? I have already told you a typical Scrum team should be in between 5 to 10 or 6 to 10 people. But Jeff Sutherland, he has constructed a team consisting of up to 800 people. So this kind of team is known as Scrum of Scrums or Meta Scrum. So this kind of Scrum is known as Scrum of Scrums or Meta Scrum. Okay, this is regarding the scalability of this Scrum. In this way, we have seen only the fundamentals of Scrum, but how actually, while you will join in some industry, etc., might be a little bit variation. Some more detail you may see. This will only help you to get acquainted in your industrial life while you are joining for the first time, etc. So, what is Scrum? When they will explain, you can understand with this much of basic knowledge. So, the further details you can see from other books or internet sources. Okay. So today we have discussed the basic concepts of Scrum. We have presented the characteristics of Scrum, explained the Scrum life cycle. We have discussed the Scrum framework, while we have seen the different roles of the Scrum, different Scrum ceremonies, and the different Scrum artifacts used, such as product backlogs, sprint backlogs, and burn down charts. I have also explained in detail the different burn down charts. So the release burn down chart, product burn down chart, and another is sprint burn down chart. Okay, we have taken in from Rajimol's book and Naresh Chauhan book. Now we'll take up any questions. Thank you very much. So this is the bare minimum thing. I am not saying this is not all I have discussed. I have discussed only the fundamental things, basic concepts of agile software development, and a particular methodology we have taken Scrum. Details you can see from other books and other internet sources. Now let's come to the question answer. Any questions, please? So if any question is there, you can ask. I request that please go through these details of any. Forget about the forthcoming examination. At least you must see how actually you will use the agile software development methodology while you will join some companies, while you will appear the campus interview, how to prepare for that. So that's why I thought to give a glimpse on this agile software development and Scrum. So I have not gone in detail. By running out of time, this much bad thing we have discussed. You can see the other related. So any doubt, if you can ask. Alright, the slides I will share and you can read them. So I think the questions are coming up. Then we'll close now. The next class will be held on Friday, I think at 1:15. Okay. So please wait for 10-15 minutes because every day some meeting you are there. So I think I want to just inform you last class I am stopping the recording. You are asking about this